So the Nurgle team are very similar to the Chaos team. They are really... They have a few noticeable differences. They are really good against High Elves and Wood Elves and teams that rely on catching and passing the ball. Because they all have clouds of stink. Well, the 4 Chaos Warriors and Beast of Nurgle have clouds of stink. They are pretty good also against extremely bashy teams, because most of them have foul appearance, which means you have to roll a dice to block them, and if you roll a 1, you're so horrified by the ghastly visage of the thing you're trying to hurt, you just don't do it.
But just quickly, what is the foul stink, the stink clouds, or whatever it was
That's
called?
disturbing presence. It's
okay.
It's an aura around you, around the players that have it in a 3 square, like in a 3 square big cube around them.
Okay.
Now, that stacks as well, and it's a -1 modifier on all passing, catching, and interception. And it stacks up. So if you're in 3 clouds of stink, that's a -3.
Oh, that's pretty painful then.
Oh, it's awful. It's grim. They have very cheap rotters, but they only really have one player that can handle the ball, and that's their Pestigore. They're very fragile, some of them. The rotters and the Pestigore are really easy to kill, which doesn't really complement the Nurgle style, considering it's mostly about punching people. They, again, like Necromancer, have extremely expensive rerolls, and they have no skills to speak of to start. And they really struggle to score. Nurgle is a team that its only scoring option is to form a cage around the Pestigore and march up the field. Let's have a look at some of the players. I will say this, the guys who did the graphic design on the Nurgle team, they have some problems. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
A huge compliment.
Ugh. Disgusting. Horrible. He makes horrible squelching sounds as well every time you're near him. This is the Beast. The Beast of Nurgle, the big guy. He is a really nasty customer. He has disturbing presence. He has foul appearance. He has tentacles. That makes it almost impossible to get away from him. Because tentacles means that every time you try and dodge away from him, you have to beat the Beast of Nurgle in a strength roll. Now, in general, the Beast of Nurgle is going to be a lot stronger than anyone he's next to. So it makes it almost impossible to escape from him. He also has Nurgle's Rot, so if he kills anyone, they come back as a rotter. Similar to how the Necro team can resurrect zombies from the corpses of their fallen foes. This guy has the nega trait really stupid, which means someone has to be standing next to him, but that's okay for Nurgle because they have a couple of disposable players who don't really achieve anything. The Nurgle Warrior, very similar to a Chaos Warrior, but, you know, disturbing presence, foul appearance, Nurgle's Rot, and agility 2, so they can't handle the ball in the same way that the Chaos Warriors can. Again, the people who did the models on these guys, disgusting. Look at that. Pustules, he's got torn open stomach. Pus oozing out of his eyes. It's not good. It's not good.
I mean, that's... in your opinion, it's not good. I mean, I'm sure someone out there...
Oh yes, someone probably is very aroused right now. I'm not sure I want to meet that person. This guy is the Pestigore. He is the ball carrier for the Nurgle team. He has horns like all the Beastmen. He has agility 3. I think he's the only player on the Nurgle team that has agility 3. He's just a Beastman, basically. But a Nurgle Beastman. So he has Nurgle's Rot. They all have Nurgle's Rot, which basically means anyone who dies against them comes back as a rotter. You can have 4 Pestigores. They're kind of good players. They're a little expensive. So when you start, you usually only take 1.
So if you hover over the Nurgle's Rot, you can see what exceptions there are to the
decay, regen, or stunty. So I guess it's the same with necromantic zombies.
Hmm.
Oh, the opponent's strength cannot exceed. Oh, so you can't kill a big guy and make him come back as a rotter. That's fun. That's cool. I didn't realize that was a little thing. These guys
So
have.
that means the Saurus then is immune to well, turning into a rotter then.
No, I don't think so because he is strength 4. It's not.
Oh, he is strength 4.
It's
Yeah,
not an
sorry about that.
exception. Yeah. But a Saurus with a strength upgrade would be
There you go.
immune. Yeah. These are like your trash players. These are your zombies. They're quite quick actually for zombies. Oh, and they are agility 3 as well, so they can handle the ball. But they have decay, and decay is a nega trait which means every time they get injured, they roll twice on the casualty table and apply both results. So these guys, if you knock them down and hurt them, are really easy to kill. And
But luckily on the flip side though, you might be recruiting
yeah,
fresh rotters as you play. So
exactly. You know that the Nurgle team has a very simple play style. I think they're much better on defense than they are on offense, and so if I was playing as Nurgle, I'd probably try and force my opponent onto offense first, because people want to score quickly against Nurgle so they don't just get killed by them, and that gives you enough time, maybe 5 or 6 turns, to put a cage together, grind down the field, maybe end the first half 1-1, and then you can receive the ball in the second half and hopefully get to a 2-1 win. I'm not very experienced with Nurgle. I don't enjoy them. There are probably other builds you can do, but this is the build I would go for as a Nurgle player. You'd want the beast. You'd want all 4 warriors because you want to try and start getting leveled up as quickly as possible, because they're only ever going to level up through casualties. You want a Pestigore because you need someone carry the ball, and they make decent ball carriers, and then you just fill the rest with rotters. This way you can get 2 rerolls as well. These guys have so expensive rerolls. It's a joke really how expensive these guys' rerolls are, considering they start off with no skills whatsoever in terms of block, dodge, pass, sure hands. None of the skills which give you free rerolls, or in Block's case, just a chance to avoid using a reroll. I don't know, Nurgle have never been a team that's interested me. A lot of people like them. They are a counter team in all respects. They are very good against teams that rely on bashing you, and they're very good against teams that are quick and rely on passing over you. Their weaknesses are fast running teams, so Dark Elves can give them a run for their money, Skaven can give them a run for their money. Amazons, when they come out, will be pretty good against Nurgle, because they don't rely on passing, they just rely on dodging. And the lack of tackle and the lack of block really does hurt them. Nurgle, once they start getting levels up, are very scary. Like, they're almost probably more scary even than Chaos, just because Chaos you can always like score quickly against. Nurgle you can't, and you know it's tough sometimes against Nurgle because you run out of options, and if you roll a 1 at an inopportune moment, you can very easily like waste your blitz. And you can never really go for the last ditch like pass effort. You know, turn 7, it's a chance to score before the end of the half. Do you go for the pass? Well, you're probably going to need to roll a 5 or a 6 for it against Nurgle because of all the clouds. They're a very defensive team. They're a slow team. I don't rate them in tournaments because again they level up so slowly. They're also, these guys, the Nurgle Warriors and the Beast of Nurgle, if you do end up killing them, they're irreplaceable early on. They're so expensive. And the Pestigore, for what he is, just a beastman at 80k, is quite expensive as well. I mean, that's more expensive than an elf lineman, and you definitely do not get the same value out of a Pestigore as an elf lineman. Rotters are cheap, disposable. No one cares about them. When you're playing against Nurgle, the best thing to do is to try and minimize the amount of blocks that you're facing, pick off their weaker players, and try and make sure the Pestigore dies. Because the Pestigore is the fastest player on the team by a square. He's also got agility 3. He's most likely going to be the ball carrier. The rotters can pick up the ball, but they're not going to move very far. You can aim to kill the rotters as well, but there's just too many of them usually. Try and stay away from the Nurgle warriors and the Beast of Nurgle. It's usually not worth it to try and knock down the Beast of Nurgle, because you have to commit so many pieces that if you fail to knock him down, chances are you're going to get 4 or 5 players stuck next to him. And that's what the Beast of Nurgle is great at, is getting players stuck. If he's got 1 or 2 more of your players around him, he's getting his value. Any questions about Nurgle? Emu, you still there, my friend? I think we may have lost Emu. I'm going to call it a day on the Nurgle front now.
Oh, I accidentally muted myself.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
no, I understand them. They look good.
Cool. Alright.
I'm like, why can you not hear me?